In December 2023, we had a huge game release in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. FNaF Help Wanted 2 was a game most of the fans were waiting for with anticipation and excitement, and when it came out, it fulfilled the expectations. It has a fantastic gameplay, really good graphics, and some interesting lore bits that us theorists obviously started overanalyzing the moment it came out. So, here we are, 7 months later, and it seems like everything this game had to offer from the lore perspective is already solved. There are countless theories about the identity of the player, interpretation of the endings, overall place in the timeline, and a lot more. And yet, there are still some topics that divide the fandom, and despite many times we were almost certain about some of those things, they still don't have a very clear explanation. One of the most constant arguments, which was a thing even back when Security Breach came out, is what actually is the main antagonist of recent games, Glitchtrap. I absolutely am aware that a lot of people have already tried to solve it, but I think I might have found something that can be the key to finally making clear once and for all who our glitch bunny friend is, and believe me or not, it all comes down to music. If we're talking about Glitchtrap identity, we first need to recap what we actually know about him by now. We know that he is some kind of a virus, or rather a program that appeared in the first Help Wanted game and corrupted Vanessa, the game tester we play as. But what is he exactly? In the Tales from the Pizzaplex books, we are introduced to a character known as the Mimic. It is basically a robot with an AI code that was built by a genius engineer, Edwin Murray, for his son. Long story short, then the things get messy, the kid dies in an accident, and the Mimic is being left abandoned by Edwin, only to be found years later by a group of Fazbear Entertainment's technicians, who, by the way, also die, and then transported to the Pizzaplex. It is commonly believed that in the games, Glitchtrap is something similar to the Mimic AI code that in one of the book's stories was used to create the Storyteller, a system which job was to create stories and personality for the Pizzaplex animatronics and attractions. However, it is very likely that Glitchtrap is something more than just AI. He might also be what is believed to be a remaining part of our favorite murderer, William Afton. In the pizzeria simulator ending, Henry Emily, the former owner of Freddy's, tricks all the remaining animatronics, Scrub Baby, Marionette, Molten Freddy and Afton, traps them in a false pizzeria building, and sets them on fire. This was supposed to make all the remaining remnant burn and free the trapped souls. It sadly doesn't go fully as planned, and some of the souls, such as William himself, are still able to escape. From the Help Wanted tapes, we know that Fazbear Entertainment was trying to get some chunks of the old code for their VR game from the animatronics they had found in the burned pizzeria.
Told us to scan it, said it would expedite the process so we wouldn't need to program any pathfinding ourselves. It was a budget thing, I guess. It was just junk. Circuit boards and things like that. Looked pretty old.
That's how Afton became a part of Glitchtrap. That's why the resemblance between him and Spring Bonnie's suit is so big. Although there is still a lot that makes Afton being a part of Glitchtrap a pretty questionable theory. However, those are the things most of us are familiar with. So what's the exact purpose of this video, you might ask? That's when the things start to get interesting. In one of Help Wanted 2 endings, we are able to play an arcade game called Princess Quest 4. From the previous games, we know that those arcades are somehow connected to Glitchtrap himself. The first Princess Quest ends with the princess staying in front of Glitchtrap, and the third one is all about facing him again. So it's not a huge surprise that he also plays a huge role in the fourth one. Unlike the previous ones though, this time he's not in control of things. After giving Glitchtrap plushie to Vanny, she's able to summon Glitchtrap and immediately kills him. From a recent interview that FNaF made with Jason Topolsky from Steelwood Studios, we know that this moment is definitely the end of Glitchtrap's story, and that this time he wasn't able to outrun death. But what does it all have to do with music? Well, quite a lot if you start digging into it. You see, during the Princess Quest 4 playthrough, we can hear this incredible song called Into the Abyss play in the background. But why am I talking about some song in a video concentrated on Glitchtrap? Well, I want you to listen to this particular part of this song. Doesn't it sound familiar? The rhythm in this song is exactly the same as the one playing in another FNaF song, Nowhere to Run. It's the exact same thing, but why is it so important? Maybe it was just reused because it sounds cool? I do not think so. You see, music has always played a huge part in games or films. It is often used to enrich the world that is being shown, make the moment climatic, or just simply build a character. This is why some types of music are more associated with heroes and some with villains. But these days, music is more and more used to actually partially tell the story, like we can see for example in the game Undertale. The final boss of the game is Azrael Dreamer, and his theme, that is also named his theme, is a rhythm that can be heard all throughout the game. Like right after the main character, Frisk, falls down while running from Undyne in the waterfall. After that we have a memory-like moment in which we can hear Azrael speak for the first time during our playthrough. We can also hear it when we walk through the new home and are introduced to Azrael's backstory. Finally, it's also a part of the song Final, which plays during the final showdown with Flowey, who, as we learn later, is also Azrael. These songs are there not only because they sound good, but also to make us start associating this particular rhythm with a particular character. But Undertale is not the only example of using this technique. It is also often used in films, like in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. During the Naboo parade we can hear a very cheerful music playing in the background. But if we listen more closely, we can actually hear that it is very similar to Emperor's theme from the original trilogy. That makes a lot of sense from the storytelling point of view, because we know that the Chancellor of Naboo is secretly Darth Sidious himself. But what is the reason of me telling you this? You see, this is the exact same thing that I believe happens in FNaF Help Wanted 2. As we previously established, in one of the endings of this game we can hear a theme very similar to the one from Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. And considering that coincidences are pretty rare in these games, literally one of the biggest clues to solve security breach might be on a pattern on wires. A pattern on wires? I've immediately found this fact rather unusual. And let me tell you, the more I started digging into it, the more it all fit together. The most obvious similarity between the moments where these two songs play is that they both appear in endings. But the analogy doesn't end there. The endings of Help Wanted 2 and Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator are considered not only endings of their games, but also endings of the entire eras of FNaF. FFPS is the end of FNaF's classic story. Almost everyone who we got to know for these 6 games is being burned. The story of William, Mike, Henry, Charlie, Elizabeth and many more ends there, until it actually doesn't, but we'll get to this in a moment. Anyway, you get this, right? This is an end to a huge chunk of story, and now let's take a look at Help Wanted 2. Although this game doesn't have a very endgame vibe, we know from fact that it is the last game of the Steelwood Studios Pizzaplex era. Also, it gives us a lot of answers, like how did Cassie got the Vanny mask in Ruin, or why does Roxanne have a different face in Ruin than she had in Security Breach. Same we can say about FFPS. It gave us the identity of the marionette, the whole concept of Remnant and much more. The other similarity is that in both games the player is being used as a tool. In FFPS, the character we play as, William Afton, lures all the remaining animatronics into the false pizzeria, but it's not his own plan. He's just playing his part in Henry's plan. Henry is the one who puts an end to the existence of these animatronics. Same thing happens in Help Wanted 2. The player, who appears to be Cassie's dad, finishes Princess Quest and trades the Vanny mask for the Glitchtrap plushie, only to deliver it to Vanny. It's all Vanny's plan to destroy Glitchtrap. Cassie's dad is only one of the elements of it. So we've established that those two endings are indeed very similar, but let's get back to our music accent for a minute. As previously said, the selection of music can be a very valuable clue while hunting for lore, and let's think about it for a moment. Nowhere to Run and Gracefully Into the Abyss both play in very similar moments throughout this series. They also both play while some major character or characters are dying. If we think about it, Nowhere to Run is actually the song of Afton's death, and that's why I'm bringing all this up. If Nowhere to Run is indeed the song symbolizing Afton's death, and it appears in the ending music of Help Wanted 2, it means that this ending must be Afton's death too. This would mean that Glitchtrap, or the part of Glitchtrap that's being destroyed, really was Afton, and that might be the thing that will end this debate once and for all. We also can't forget the implications this might have on the future of this series. Afton's death in FFPS was responsible for the creation of a new threat, Glitchtrap himself. And what happens after Help Wanted 2 ending? When the Glitchtrap virus is being destroyed, a new threat arises. The new antagonist of the series is unleashed. The era of the Mimic begins. And that's all for today. I hope you'll find this video useful. Although I've been theorizing about the lore of this series for quite a long time, this one is special, because it's the first one I'm sharing with you here. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you did, you can leave a like or hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of my interpretation of this series' crazy lore. Remember that this all is mostly a speculation and a theory. If you think that I might have missed something, or you have some theories on your own, you can leave a comment below. Any feedback would be useful. Goodbye for now, and see ya on the next night shift.